All right, welcome to another Brothers Wisps. I don't know which episode. Greg normally one that keeps track of that. And as you can see, Greg is not here. And because Greg's not here, we're having to use Hangouts. First time I've used Hangouts, but we're not all sitting at the same desk. So for all I know, you could just be seeing one person the entire time, and I have no idea. But we have Tom, and we have new to us, I believe, for casting of Alex.
That is true.
Alex, tell us a little about yourself. What do you do? Where are you at? How'd you meet up with the rest of this group?
I come from a long line of ISPs. I met up with Greg actually back in Pittsburgh for the first time in person, and rejoined in Miami. And here I am, part of the group. Happy to be part of the banter. I currently reside in Oregon. I was previously up in Seattle, and I'm working for a company that does social 3D avatar chat and games. So
nice. The whole line of questions. He's not here, and I don't know what they are, so I guess we'll just move on. Tom, what have you been up to lately?
Hi guys. Nothing much really, just tipping away, working on, Jesus, what have I been doing? Just building out, we're kind of expanding our network. We're using different kind of 17 gig links now. I don't know, you guys, can you use 17 gig links in the States, or are you stuck here?
No, the 17 is not available to us. For unlicensed, we go from 5 gig straight up to 24.
Alright, cool. I mean, not so cool, but yeah, the Polish apparently have 10 gigs, which is kind of nice as well, which we don't have. But there you
go. Alright. So, do either of you have some news to talk about? I've got a list of things I can start us off with.
The cloud hosted router sounds like it could be very good. Sounds like they're going to do stuff that we wanted for, and I've been banging on about for a long time. So I'm reasonably excited by that. I think the licensing model change could be positive. Might be expensive, but I think it's positive in terms of getting support for that platform, because you know the whole economics behind the current x86 support of MikroTik doesn't exist. You know, so I think that's positive. What do you think, guys?
Alex, go ahead. Alex still here? Alex was having issues earlier, so maybe he's gone. Maybe it's just Tom and I. All right. Well, I guess I'm really looking forward to it. All the things that we've been asking for, they're starting to do. You know, they've got fast path on x86, and you know, they're talking about some pretty big throughputs. Alex might be coming back.
Yeah.
So we and they're really cranking out the releases. It seems like they've had several releases in the past few weeks.
Yeah, and I think the addition of like the real VirtIO and let's say hypervisor kind of optimized drivers is really a good development, and will allow it, let's say, and see how it actually works in the, I hate saying it, the cloud, but on people's virtualized infrastructure. I think it could be a very positive step, and you know, it's been something I've been saying to them for years, so I'm kind of pleased that they're kind of moving that direction. I think it makes sense. The 1 meg license model is very similar to the actual Cisco NetScaler or Citrix NetScaler model, you know, where you get a fully functional thing, but it's limited to 1 meg. usage, so you can actually use it for training. You can, deploy a lab, pretty much a limited lab in terms of, for training and testing purposes. And it looks like they're supporting multiple different hypervisor versions, which I think is absolutely very positive, very good. Because I have to say I was in a bad place for a while when I wasn't seeing any progress on that,
Right. Yeah. Alex seems to be back. Any thoughts, comments on the cloud-hosted router?
I've been playing around with Mytic in the virtualized environment. It's cool that they've actually come full circle to officially support that, and I do like the licensing model. When you're doing one-off projects or you want to, try things out in a lab environment, rather than connecting up a bunch of devices or trying to do in a virtual environment, it's cool to see that they've shifted to the model they have that allows you to freely lab and experiment. So happy to see the progress there.
Yeah, and I do think it'll probably result in a change in terms of, let's say, for the commercial licensing of it. I think they may move to a subscription model. I don't know, but certainly the way they're changing the licensing for it, I think is an indication that they might be moving in a different direction for that type of the way the current license is done on the actual serial number of the hard disk, so it doesn't. They don't have much enforcement options on the licensing, let's say, with the traditional virtualization. Like, I'm sure we've all probably fired them up in VMware or VirtualBox or Zen if you're to get it working, or even Hyper-V or Microsoft Virtual Machine 2005, as I did back in the day. So,
right.
So, like, I think it's good that way. That it's. I think it's moving in the right direction, or at least I hope so. So.
Find a model that supports them as a company, but also keeps the honest people honest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it also means that,
I've been following the thread where they announced it, and there's been a lot of people asking for the same thing. Like, nobody reads the damn thread. Like, more than once I've commented, like I've quoted Normus, who's saying, we're gonna do this, or we're not gonna do that. You said it like 4 or 5 times already, and I'm like, aren't you getting tired of that? He's like, I guess I have to just keep repeating myself. People don't listen. But that's gotta get aggravating. But yeah,
but that's what we've got to do. We have to keep repeating ourselves because they don't listen sometimes.
we used to do that, or we still do that?
No, just remember, I can't edit any of this, so this is what it is.
I don't want.
But no,
you haven't heard already, like.
Yeah, but no, but I mean, they have had a lot of stuff going on over there lately. That it was like there was nothing going on for a long time, and now in version 7 we're gonna have 64-bit. We have this new cloud-hosted router, and I believe what I saw in one of the threads was that not all of these drivers are going to make it back into the regular router OS. Like the VMXNet 3 and stuff like that won't be ported to the other side, so they're going to be maintaining 2 separate branches of router OS. Good or bad.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I'd have a little bit of concern about that, a little bit anyway. Maybe not so much for VMXNet, but certainly for the Intel drivers. I think they're trying to support a wide range of Intel cards, from the consumer models with the very small layer 2 MTU to the enterprise cards that do. But the problem is, I think they're kind of focused more on supporting a lot of hardware rather than the enterprise hardware really well. So I think there needs to be probably a standard there somehow that, you know, look, you've a crappy card, so we're going to do some crappy workarounds to get MPLS working. And then if you actually have proper enterprise hardware, they kind of go, oh, congratulations, you have a brainwave stuff. We can actually fully support or implement the MPLS stack on your hardware as documented. So I think they do need to, and perhaps I'd like to hear from what the developers might say about that. But I do think, like I just ran into some weird issues with MPLS on X86 before, where the IP MTU had to be expanded to actually make VPLS traffic work, even though if you look at all the documentation, all the labels go outside that. And it was on a card that actually supported it. So there's just some funnies like that that kind of are, as bluntly as used, are worse, frustrating. So it'd be interesting just to see how they actually manage the split between driver fan, and I hope to get it right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's a lot of opportunity here, both in virtualized centric and just regular bare metal x86 support. You know, I've got some you know dual socket Xeons, fairly recent processors. I know that you have some pretty beefy router setups yourself that already screen pretty well. I like to see those guys running fast path and fast track when available. I mean, I was pushing like 30 plus gigs while running bandwidth test, or you know, on the same boxes, and only hitting like 20-30%. So I can only imagine what it would be. You know, doing an iPerf through the box, but then you know, with fast path and fast track.
It could be interesting, like if the drivers are like if the driver families of the virtualization hardware is much better, you may find a situation like the Cisco NetScalers, for example, where effectively you deploy. You get a pizza box, and they have some sort of virtualization hardware on it. I think the native ones for Cisco are it's a Xen-based one now, which for Cisco NetScaler, and then you actually deploy your NetScaler software so you have one pizza box, and you have, or two pizza boxes if you have high availability, and effectively you run a VM in each one of them, But if the performance is better, I don't think people will care too much. But you know, it'd be interesting to see what it'd be like native as well, and get good native support as well. But
It's also nice.
Sorry?
It's also nice when you're virtualizing the router. If you're troubleshooting, you can actually have a Linux box, you know, on the same hardware to run some custom monitoring or tools to, you know, troubleshoot connections outside of the router.
Absolutely, and you know, it reduces the cost of deployment, and it would increase the options available to you in terms of having like a hosted VPN service, actually offering kind of bespoke infrastructure as a service. So you say, hey, you know, rather than just the model of oh, here's a website, and now you can kind of say, well, here's a website, here's a reverse proxy, here's your VPN concentrator, and you're selling now a couple of VMs, which traditionally, kind of like the Amazon model, you know, where they have, let's say, the virtual checkpoint firewalls, you have the virtual Brocade VIATA type firewalls or load balancers in front of the website, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. Hi, Joseph.
Mooks. Hey,
Welcome, Miller.
let me get some headphones.
Right now we're just talking about the cloud-hosted router.
Ah,
Yeah, I can see a situation too where you want to upgrade the firmware or something, or have a couple versions on the same hardware. It's really easy to copy configuration over, or to try out a firmware and know if it's the hardware or the software. You can just fire up the other virtualized version of the same router and perhaps send that information back to Microtik for quicker bug fixes.
Yeah, no, it would be. Yeah, I think it can be good for that. And again, even for an education platform, I think myself, Patrick Schaub, there was a couple of guys in Germany that I work with that. I know that Warner Maya in Brazil also uses QEMU, or sorry, I can't pronounce it. QEMU. He uses like a GLS3 and all that type of stuff as a training platform as well for his clients. So he even has on his website, he actually has images you can download ready to rock and roll. So I think it's a pretty good, positive move, I'll try and root out a link for you, but it's pretty cool, like what you did with it.
Justin, any thoughts on the cloud-hosted router?
I'm excited about it once they lift the 1 meg per interface limit.
Yeah,
I want to really get it in there and try it. Like I use it in the ESXi platforms that we have now, and got 2 cloud core routers and 2 uplinks from a virtual Microtek to each one of those cloud core routers for redundancy, and performance is, I can only get about 330 megs out of it before it runs out of steam. So curious to see what happens when I upgrade it to one of those cloud hosted routers. What kind of performance I can expect to get out of that.
I had version 5 something rather running in ESXi for the longest time as a cloud router until the demand exceeded the performance that the box could do. A lot of that's going to be driver limitations, obviously.
Yeah, I just got DNS, my authoritative and caching DNS servers, and our monitoring and stuff like that. Low bandwidth requirements for all that stuff that's behind it, but still want it to be redundant and everything. So, it works out well.
Yeah, we use it on. We use it like at the moment for a kind of small bit of management routing. So if you can imagine just the route management traffic, or maybe some database backend traffic if it's light, and also for like application level stuff. So as you've probably seen before, using Microtik as a reverse proxy in front of other proxies that we have. So in front of our website. So we do a lot of filtering of requests before it hits our website. So it works quite well in that, in fairness. But then again, we're not Amazon, and we're not, so I can't say my website's that popular. Damn you, world, for not loving my website and stuff like that. But no, it's pretty okay. Like.
Alrighty, let's bring up another vendor here with Ubiquiti. Do you guys see the AF3x and the AF2x?
Yeah, those guys have been pretty busy lately with new announcements.
Yeah, they've got that and the EdgeSwitch light and that Edge router DPI, and each of their groups seems to be doing something other than the AirMax group.
Edge router X, the light beam.
They're all stolen for that those other projects.
But for those that don't know, the AF3x AF2x is just a continuation of the AF5x. One operates in the 3.5 gigahertz band, the other in 2.4. The U.S. version of the 3 will do the 3650 to 3700 and should support the new expanded band once ever the FCC stops screwing around and lets us use it.
Is the 2.4 version only useful like on the moon or something? Because
well, I talked to a few people. I talked to a few people, and the kind of common thought was that there's a lot of WISPs that have gone away from 2.4 for their multi-point, due to interference on the ground, and so some of the thought is that maybe they're doing it because now 2.4 from tower to tower will be clean because no one's using it on their tower anymore. So if you use a good dish, you can cut out a lot of that ground noise. Possibly some foliage penetration.
Sure.
Obviously nothing that you would get out of a lower frequency, but 2.4 is going to be better than 5. anything.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear foliage penetration.
but yeah, I've heard a couple good performance reviews of that. A guy swapped out a Rocket 365 with the 3X and went from like 30 megs to like 180 megs in the same channel. Well, actually, I guess it's the entire channel. Is Justin Wilson in here now too? He joined the chat, but I don't know if he. Nope, he's gone. All right.
He's probably just chatting, saying, "Hey, Mike, how are you?" And then, "Oh God, there's."
I didn't even know. I didn't even know that. I heard the prompt. I didn't know that I had invited him to the chat. Maybe he just hopped in, not knowing what it was. So I was real interested to see those coming until I saw the prices. The AF2X is, well, the 5X is like $379 or so. The 2X is less than $100 more, or around $100. And so that's okay. It seems somewhat reasonable because it's the 5X is gonna have a huge volume lead over it. But then the 3X is like twice the price of the 5X. It doesn't now who's gonna deploy it when it's $700 or $800 a radio? It's currently the best backhaul there is in that band, but it's $800 for a radio.
But is that like for a point-to-point link? Is that not too bad, or is this like a proper airFiber as opposed to like as in with the two dishes? Yeah.
These are the connectorized airFibers. So you roll your own dish.
Right.
Or use one of their single dishes.
They are shipping their own dishes for 2 gig and 3 gig for the new product. They're just not here yet. The 2X and 3X should be on our, in the U.S. already. The rest of it's on the boat. I didn't bother to ask about Ireland. Sorry.
And I think, personally, I think like €800 a radio or dollars or whatever is not actually too bad for backhaul. Okay, for a subscriber unit, it's ridiculous. Like you'd want to, it would have to be like a backhaul type subscription as opposed to just fiber to the home or whatever, or Wi-Fi home. But if it's $800 a radio, £1,600 for a link. I mean, we've all paid a lot more for links than if it performs. Right.
It's not like it's the end of the world, but it's twice the price of the other one. Why? Like when it was the Rocket 365, it made sense because they take a Rocket M5, they put on a frequency inverter thing to make it work elsewhere, and some other voodoo, and you get the now you get the Rocket 365. Well, the airFiber is all custom from the ground up. So what's the where's this doubling of the cost come in? Unless they're just assuming that the volume is going to be that drastically different, which the pricing kind of guarantees.
I'd say it's purely commercial. Like, people with a 3.5, like in Ireland at least, 3.5 is like licensed. So they say, well, you paid a license for this, so you got to pay us a little bit more. It just, I don't know now.
It does seem like it actually makes the 3 gig spectrum actually worthwhile.
Yeah, and it certainly has all of the Telrad users real anxious. Telrad costs like $30,000 per tower. It works really good, but it's $30,000 per tower, and everyone's afraid that people throw up an $800 airFiber 3x that their $30,000 investment just goes down the drain. Remains to be seen. Obviously, most I doubt the people that have beta tested either one have both. So, or if they did, they could talk about it. So at least we see what happens with that.
But you have certain regulations around the 3.5 band. Like, there are certain requirements for you to actually use it. Is that correct?
Up until a few years ago, it wasn't even available in the United States. It was strictly federal government spectrum. But back a few years ago, they opened a piece from 3650 to 3700, and then within that, they made the lower 25 available to pretty much anything, and then the upper 25 available to only devices that met certain cooperation requirements in their protocols. But we've been going through a lot of FCC proceedings the past few years, and they have opened up from 3550 to 3650, making it a total of 150 megahertz now available. The original bands were like a light license. Like, you had to pay the FCC to get a license, but there was no exclusivity, and anybody could get one.
Mm-hmm.
So then they, but now the new one, they're going to have, you can bid on a license. It's really small license areas, so therefore it's more likely that you will win a license for your area versus the cellular company just buying half the state, and for $50 million you could buy, like we have what's called census blocks, census tracts. They're really small areas, portions of a town. It's possible there could be 8 different licensees in the same town, all depending on the size of the town and how they bid. But there's still going to be spectrum reserved for unlicensed use for anybody else to run. So we'll just have to see how that ends up checking out in practice versus FCC proposal.
And will the FCC have an arbitration role between, let's say, the 8 licensees, or will they have strict conditions that each licensee has only this part of the spectrum? Like each one would have a separate.
It's actually going to be completely dynamic, controlled by some database gods somewhere. Google's likely going to be one of the databases, since they already have one for the TV white space area. It's functioning on the same concept. So then your radio will go wherever the FCC tells you it's going to go, and that could change as time goes on. So you're not licensing, 3550 to 3560. You're just getting 10 megahertz wherever they decide you're going to go. But they're controlling everybody, so they will not let anybody else's radio turn on in your spectrum while you're using it. And the nice thing with licenses is that if there's fewer bidders than licenses, licenses are free. The licenses only cost money if there's more bidders than the number of licenses available, which is good for, I guess, those bidding for the licenses.
Right.
Anyone else have any much for the 3x, 2x, or we find something else?
I wanted to talk about those 60 gig radios coming out of San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
I've seen your Skype message, and I just realized that we hadn't talked about them on any of the shows yet. I mean, I know quite a bit. I've got one of the guys that works there on a Skype chat. But what do you guys know, and what do you think? What are you looking forward to?
Them not being vaporware.
Yeah, if they're as good as they sound, it's really going to shake up the industry, right?
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm perfect target market for them, and I sent them an email. Hey, send me a beta unit. I'll test it out. I can literally use all of it right now. And they were like, just pre-order. It's coming out at the end of the month. I'm like, that's what you said last month. So, I don't know. It looks good. Stickley's got some products that are pretty similar as well, but not as cheap, I don't think.
Hey, Tom, is 60 gigahertz available over for you, Tom?
I'm not too sure. I think it's 80. Actually, maybe 60. Well, no, I don't know. Sorry.
But
problem is all of our hops are much longer than what they would give, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, would be around 1 to 2 kilometers would be the limit on those. Would it be right in saying that?
Right. Yeah. All you're gonna get is 1 to 2 kilometers out of that.
So like we like one of our links, like the shortest hops we'd have were around 7, 8 kilometers or 5, 6 kilometers, which.
I just did 261 meter airFiber links, so it's perfect for me. I could have used those instead. And Alex, I had no problems doing what we talked about. So.
Would you not run fiber, you lazy fecker?
But for those that don't know, Ignitenet or Ignite, whatever.
Ignitenet
has a 60 gigahertz MetroLinq product coming out. It will have an integrated 5 gigahertz backup radio, which is what I've been asking for from these vendors for forever. Anybody that has over 10 gigahertz, will you build in a 5 gig backup so that during fading events we have something usable? Well, no, just add your your own other radio. Well, now I got extra roof rent. I've got to figure out, not that it's difficult, but I have to make my routers do that aggregation or switching with which link is which. But the best thing about these products is they're $500. The nearest competitor is like $3,600 or $4,000, somewhere on that.
What sort of speed?
Gig. Full gig.
Yeah,
Full gig.
It's
1 millisecond latency, kind of its own proprietary.
It's 2.5 gigs half duplex or aggregate. So it's a full gig.
1.25. Okay, so it's a proper actual. It's pretty much decent link. Okay, nice.
Yeah. And they do have some other stuff coming that I'm really excited for that I probably can't talk about, but keep your eye on them.
Why can't you talk about it? Come on, you can tell us.
I've told all my vendors I'll play nice. That way I keep getting the information.
Loose lips, ships.
Yeah. As
long as it's their ships, not yours.
Yeah. Loose lips think their ships. Yeah, but obviously there's not a lot of use cases for it for most traditional WISPs, but it opens up a lot of opportunity in the urban markets for people to do, really high throughput point-to-point links. Brings down the cost a lot of, pulling 10 gig fiber into one building and then branching out to all the neighboring buildings with gig links. Drop some lower end CCR at that site and light up the whole building for $1,500 plus whatever the internal costs are. I'm really looking forward to that.
Some people are doing that now with current hardware.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, there's
certainly you can be a lot more competitive with some new products, right?
Yeah, and then those those who aren't as well funded can step into that game as well.
Sure.
So the things I have on the list here. Again, switch light. You guys see that come up?
You're breaking up quite a bit, Mike.
I'm guessing not. Oh, that's.
Is it me or you?
Okay.
No, he's cutting out for me, and you are not. So.
Yeah, no, it's just Mike for me.
Mike, you got to change channels, buddy. You got some wireless interference going on there.
I'm getting things from my servers.
Time to hardwire in.
Well, I mean, I'm hardwired here right through like several backhauls to get to.
Or upgrade ISPs.
Hello?
Hi. I saw that Observium's adding support for airFibers on the mailing list. So I don't know if Adam had a change of heart or not, but apparently he's doing some WISP work now. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that announcement as well, but I haven't dove into the Observium world.
I'll let you know what it looks like when it comes out.
Sure.
I've been updating every day now, waiting for it, but good luck.
Right. The issue was I was having whatever it was seems to be gone now.
Yeah, you're coming through better
There's
now.
a flock of birds flying through your Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yet I just started checking the network monitoring, and when I looked, everything was fine. I checked back and showed up my desktop's pinging Google again, so I'll look into it later. I got a show to do. But yeah, the EdgeSwitch lights. Did you guys hear about those?
Yeah, it looks like they've got some really good price per performance for a new switch.
Yeah, I wish each of them had 2 more SFP plus slots. I wish the 24 port had 2 to begin with, and the 48 port had 4. And they're pretty competitive. I think they're down to like $400.
Which ones are these?
The EdgeSwitch Lite from Ubiquiti. They're basically taking the edge switches that they already had and yanking out all of the PoE. It's just basic switching. Useful for data centers or places.
What's the command line like in London? Is it like iOS-esque, or is it?
I have no idea. I have no idea, but I think JJ has some. I think he likes them.
I looked through the manual a little bit. I haven't played with it firsthand, but it looks like the CLI is pretty decent on it.
Yeah. I have to say, we're used to the TP-Link ones. The 3424s, the 3216s, the 3210s, and the 5424s. They're reasonably good, like, I mean, and you know, you can get a 3424 for around, without the PoE, for around €150. full wire speed, which isn't bad. And then the actual 3424Ps are around 300 euros, 300 in around that, you know. So they're not bad. Like they've no 48 port model. They do have a new layer 3 switch one, which is around 1500 euros. Which will offer, like, it'll take up to 128,000 routes and so on and so on. But that looks interesting, but and it has redundant power supplies. The only thing is I haven't been able to buy a redundant power supply, or I haven't been able to buy some of the expansion modules, you know, where the dual 20 gig kind of stacking modules. But so I haven't really had a chance to play with the higher end, let's say, models with the uplinks, you know, the 10 gig uplinks. So the 10 gig uplink ones are around 800 euros. So, you know, so they're a little bit more pricey, you know. But the standard 24 gig ones have been working well for us for a while now, I'd say.
Which product was that again?
TP-Link, they're basically the layer 2 added switches, not the web smart, which is not that smart. That has smart switches. I just yawn, but they do the 3424s and the 5428s are actually, I have to say, a reasonably solid switch. Like, they haven't fallen over for us at all, and quite pleased with them. Like every switch, they have a few bugs, but they're, like, in terms of when you're configuring them, but you get over that, you know, when you see the price, you know. But they've been solid once they're deployed, you know, that kind of way. So, but I haven't seen the Edge Lite. Must have a look. We've started to use, or Michael, my colleague, has started to use some of the CRSs. I've no real feedback now. I know that when we were discussing them, I wasn't that happy about the configuration interface, and I haven't heard any feedback on it just yet. But
all right. Other things I kind of threw together real quick before the show, and I know I'm going to hear about it later. Ubiquiti still does not have DFS or 5150 megahertz in their new Air Max products. So I say by new, like less than 2 years old. Although I saw some of the public channels say that that they do have a beta version out for some of them that does the 5150. So maybe by Christmas we'll have all of the 5 gig back and available to us to use in the US on the new products.
Yeah, they say that they're working in that direction, and there's certainly some signs of it, but clearly we aren't, you know, really seeing the fruit of that yet.
Not many people seem to be having the difficulty that they do with getting this stuff done. We just hope it's all worth it in the end.
Maybe they will have an announcement at their next gathering.
Yeah, I noticed that for Vegas they have for WISPAPALOOZA time they have their own show, or like their own event. Oh, Miller dropped off. Their own event scheduled at a different hotel.
They're calling it the next event.
Yeah, I registered for it just because I'm probably gonna go, but I don't know if it's like lined up with the official timing or how that works out.
Who is this?
Ubiquiti having a show.
All right.
October 12th in Vegas.
I don't have any more useful information for you, Tom, regarding you being there or not. So I'll let you know when I know anything.
Okay, cool.
But
Yeah, no, WISPAPALOOZA. I've never been to one. Like, so you're saying about 1,200 people, 1,100 people at the event, is it roughly?
yeah, it's been growing. It was almost 1,100 last year, so I imagine it'll be up there again now, especially with Ubiquiti having their event at the same time.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. It seemed like Ubiquiti just kind of stopped holding their world conferences and slowly let them fade away. So we'll see what they have in store.
Alrighty. You seem to be running out of steam. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
Do you want to talk about the 1072s, or do you want to wait till Thrift comes on?
Thrift was supposed to talk about the 1072s today, but for some reason he couldn't make it. So since he's going to have more information on that than any of us,
we can be nice and let him share with the group.
Yeah, I'll just let him handle that whenever
he's too busy time traveling right now, anyways.
But I'm anxious to see what they do.
We waited this long for them to actually become a real product, so we can wait a little bit longer for discussion on them, right?
Yeah. Just hope it doesn't turn into 6 months, and then another 6 months, and another 6 months, and then we all move to Brocade or something else.
X86.
But
64-bit.
I should really have Tom was saying there. All right, Greg normally says this.
I was saying X86.
But Greg normally says this, but I guess we're running out of steam here. So, what do you guys have coming up in the next couple of weeks that's interesting, or are you doing anything interesting? Nobody's interesting.
Oh, I'm just trying to keep head above water right now because it's August, right? And all the kids come back from school, and we have a lot of dorms. So a lot of kids don't know how to plug in a router and get online. So it's a lot of hand-holding.
Yeah.
So that's what I got going on. This month is all of that. It's horrible.
Yeah, I would think that by now kids would know how to operate those things, but I guess maybe we're over the curve of, maybe 5 or 10 years ago the kids, knew, and now they're lazy and don't want to learn anything anymore. So maybe we're just falling back to nobody knows shit.
Jesus, Mike, you sound like you're 60 there. How's the internet exchange just going for yourself and Justin and Justin?
Well, we started RVA-IX and RVA-IX.com or org. We got traffic graphs, public traffic graphs for that up. Just Akamai on there, and about it right now. And then we've got LinkedIn with Links Nova, and then most recently we just got LinkedIn with Equinox.
Cool.
And that's been quite amazing to get into that. So.
Cool.
Nothing. No big announcements here. We've got Akamai is our gear is in place. We just had some scheduling issues and some equipment that didn't get here that was supposed to. So once we get that straightened out, they should be online. We've got quite a few large networks that don't have any Akamai now. I think currently we're up to about 200 prefixes being announced on the exchange. We've got one more pending that he's got about 75 or 80 prefixes. And we've got another one signing up, just waiting for paperwork to finish going through. That they're going to bring 500 prefixes.
Nice.
So things are really starting to go. We talked with Microsoft about getting a box from them. we didn't quite have the traffic they wanted to see yet for, them, building out, their network to us, which, I understand, to build out a pair of 10 gig pipes is going to cost them $5,000 a month and all the other stuff, so it has to be worth their time. But still waiting on Google to do that kind of stuff. All the big guys you're talking to said, either said, yes, you meet our qualifications, we're in process, or, let's send a box instead. So I'm really looking forward to getting some of this stuff completed.
Has any of you noticed a big jump on Google IX traffic recently? Because we're seeing a significant jump, like a 50% jump in our Google traffic. So I don't know what they're doing differently, but just.
I'm not. My network isn't paired with anybody yet, so, and then we don't have Google yet on the IX, so I don't have anything there to offer.
All right.
About 15% of our traffic is Google, and over 50% of it's Netflix. So, and then Edgecast was up there, and Akamai's up there.
It's funny, like Google is about 3 times as much as Netflix on our network, and about, but it's kind of funny how you say Netflix is number 1, and.
I was really surprised. I was talking to one of the gamer guys on our network, and he is like, "I've got 4 millisecond ping times for Rocket League now." I was like, "That's awesome! To be able to play games with 4 millisecond ping time across our network." So,
that's pretty nice.
That's nice. Alex, Tom, you guys have anything exciting coming up before we do the next show?
Hopefully that's not too far from now.
Yeah, it's next couple weeks get Thrift in here. And maybe
nothing noteworthy at the moment.
All right. Tom, you been in any good bars lately?
No. I was in Amsterdam actually, which I was in 1 or 2 bars there that were pretty good.
You got a little dirt on your face here. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, what's going on there, Tom?
I just decided this morning that, seeing as I've gone through puberty finally, I said I'd celebrate it.
Was that last month?
It was just last month, actually, yeah.
So I don't know if any of the other guys have seen this, but just this morning, I believe it was, I saw a video of Tom singing on Facebook. It was quite a sight. It was several minutes long.
Yeah,
what can be seen can't be unseen. So
it wasn't nothing obscene. No, I was well behaved. It's a song called Raglan Road, and basically, just had a few pints, and the band that was up there took a break, and I went, "Can I grab the mic?" And they said, "Yeah, work away, we're tired." So then, one of my friends videotaped me without permission, and then uploaded it. It's the dangers of Facebook. Of course, my wife was in Poland at the time, and I was out partying in Ireland, so she was not too impressed to hear it on Facebook. that I was out having a few pints with the friends, so there you go.
Alrighty, well, I guess we'll wrap this up then. Hopefully, Greg figures out whatever the hell's wrong with his laptop, and since Windows 10, he just installed it. He couldn't get first. Skype was using up all the resources on the laptop, and then he couldn't get the recording software to work. And by the time we spent an hour trying to make it work, he had to go anyway. So I took over with the Hangouts, and the only one I had done before, or ones I'd done, were all at shows where there's a bunch of us. We're just spreading it out, and so I apologize if presentation was shit. I've been driving it. Hopefully, you didn't spend the whole time just staring at
your extreme close-up.
But All right. Well, see you guys later.
See ya.
See ya. Are you going to talk after this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, not here because I have to stop this.
Okay, so stop, but can't you just leave it off air?
I don't know the details. We'll find out.